Okay, so I'm sorry. I genuinely don't know. At one point in my monologue, there it stopped recording. Apparently, you did at some point, and I just didn't notice it. So hopefully, I didn't cut out too much. But regardless, and I don't know how long the second part will be. I probably need to go in and check my laundry in a little bit. Well, I don't have to do it immediately. Um, so, um, I don't know why is the timer thing that's recording on this? It's on that side of the screen. I thought it was gonna be on a different one. Okay, fine. I guess I'll hold. Fine. I guess I'll hold it like this. I don't normally do this, but whatever. It's okay. Um, well, anyways, so I was kind of going on the whole thing about like academia and grades and achievement and all that, and kind of like how I sort of felt like I don't really care too much about being like, oh, I'm like perfect all A student, or like, oh, I got certain academic achievements or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, it doesn't really mean much anything to me. But it's kind of, I was kind of getting on. I was going to get to the point. I was getting to the point of the thing of I was kind of thinking about back to high school. I feel like that really focuses a lot, in my experience, too much on school here focuses too much on athletics, and I don't mean that in the way of I think athletics are bad. I think they'd be great. It's a fun way to release some tension, to connect with people, to do something with your community, right, and to stay healthy and fit. All great, reasons to join some kind of sports club activity. I don't have any problems with any of those. What my problem is that my high school, I don't know how universally applicable this is across the country, but right, the United States, but at least in my high school, right, like they had tons of events to celebrate, really high, well-doing athletic students, but they barely did all too much for academics. And you think, well, okay, isn't it weird for me to say that because I was just talking about my problems with academics? Well, my grander point that I was trying to get to, that I was going to get to, was that my sort of problem here is not exclusively with academics, but kind of leading into the sort of maybe more general sort of perspective that I have and whatnot. Right? The point being, regardless if it's academic or if it's athletics, or whatever, and they're like, I don't think that I mean, sometimes I feel like it, but I don't think that I necessarily need to accomplish or like achieve great things or whatever in order to be happy or successful. I mean, if I do, that's great, that's cool, it's fun. But I think, all right, so you're a very like image focused sort of society, sort of people imagine collectively, and that's not necessarily, I don't think, an entirely bad or wrong thing, but I don't know. I just feel like, why does it, why does it really matter if, I'm the, top, I'm the top, 1% of students at my school or something? Because it's like, no one really cares. Several things. One, no one really cares, right? Some people might, right? Maybe some employers, maybe some, if you're trying to get into certain grad school and all that. But it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm just focusing on different stuff because I'm thinking this more like broadly, more existentially, I suppose, philosophically. Some people might be thinking more in terms of pragmatically, so maybe some kind of blind spot I have, or just something I'm kind of downplaying or whatever, I don't know. but it's like, well, I don't know if I can fully express the way that I'm feeling here, or that I don't know if I will be able to, not because of some like external restriction, but because I feel like a lot of people are just not going to understand, or because we're just so fundamentally different, like value based in terms of this, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I feel like I don't think I said that correctly. Let me try. What I mean is that I think that I question some beliefs, some values that I feel like a lot of people uphold, especially in this American society, that which I don't really feel like I resonate with or agree with or value, at least not nearly to the same quite extent or type, perhaps. And I think that because of that, I don't know if I can effectively make the point or communicate or argue or convince anyone to not think a certain way, or to question it more, or what, I don't know. Hopefully, I'm sorry. That was weird. Hopefully you get it. Anyways. So, I don't know. It's just to me like, okay. Why does it matter to, and I'm asking this, I don't expect you much to answer this, although feel free to if you really want to. But, I'm asking this a question. Why does it really matter if, trying to think here, right, have a certain, degree in something, right? Or if we have a certain certification, or all these other things, because to me it's like these are just external. Like, you don't actually, like, I'm not smart because I have a PhD. I'm not smart because I don't have a PhD, but making the point here, right? I'm not smart because I make six figures, or because I own certain, I'm not I'm not smart because I have a bunch of titles, essentially. I'm smart because, I like to think, because I actually think about shit. To me, it's not about, like, it feels like all these sort of titles that we have, right? A lot of them, anyways, right? Like doctor, professor, lawyer, all these things. To me, it just feels so made up. And I'm not saying that I don't think that a lot of these people don't work hard. I think they definitely do. And they should, I think that, they should be appreciated. They should be, valued. I think there's a lot of very hardworking and very intelligent people who abide by these sort of systems. I'm not saying this is the case necessarily for every single person. But the point is, right, having a degree does not make you smart. There's plenty of dumbasses who have a degree in something big, and they're stupid. They're dumb. They don't know shit. They don't know how to, like, actually interact with people, or how to do, like, real things that they actually need to do. It's kind of one of my problems with academia, is I don't really feel like that you get taught, like, actual skills. We just get taught a bunch of stuff, right? And then we just pride ourselves on knowing that stuff. Like, I think it's more valuable to actually know how to do things than just know about things. Right? I mean, But I mean, it's not to say that there isn't value in these kind of things. So, you know, but I mean, I don't. It's just hard because at the same time, it's like, well, what am I defining by this? And maybe that's again the sort of position of a lot of people here in this country, which I want to disagree with. I want to be different from. I want to see things from a different perspective. I don't know. Right. And I don't know. It's hard because it's like maybe I'm just good at seeing different perspectives, or I don't know. Maybe I'm not. But because it's like I don't know. I get sort of not necessarily always, but a lot of the times when I see that like a group of people are like, oh, this is our belief system, whatever. I kind of almost naturally am like, well, I kind of want to just disagree with you. I kind of just want to, like, even if you happen to sort of think things similarly to myself, I kind of just want to question it. I kind of just want to be, I don't know if it's just, I don't think it's necessarily different for the sake of being different, although maybe it is, but maybe it's just like, I don't know. I don't like groupthink. I don't like to conform. I don't like to just think that what I think is just what the same as everyone else is, and then I'm part of some kind of like, rigid, hierarchy group shit thing. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but hopefully it makes sense to you. Because it's like, I hold back to personality typology thing, right? And yeah, sure, I know, like, people are like, they're not, scientifically proven, or whatever, bull crap. They're like, oh, use Big Five, or, Myers-Briggs, or Enneagram, or whatever. Okay, well, go fuck yourself. I don't care. Also, there has been, actually, I think, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, that's perfectly fine. I could have sworn there's at least some kind of, evidence or whatever showing that, it does, but I don't know. For me, it's like, I'd rather be an independent thinker than, a person with a title on my name. Because it feels inauthentic to me. I guess if you're getting to the whole personality typology thing here, right? So, I've not really gone back and forth, but I guess I've just generally kind of accepted most of the time in the last few years since I originally took the first personality type test that I'm an INTP, right? My first function is introverted thinking, right? And the opposite of that is extroverted thinking, which is the top function of, EXTJ types, or, ENTJs and ESTJs, right? Right, and they might be a lot more focused on, pragmatic things, getting stuff done. They're not really as focused about understanding stuff so much as to the full extent, but as much as they need to know, or what they need to know in order to achieve things. They're very like doing, action, result, oriented, right? But to myself, and I don't know, maybe I use he a lot more than I might care to admit, but to me it's like, okay, sure, maybe you get things, okay. Yeah, I feel like, and I don't know, maybe I'm just, and I think, and I will admit some of this is, yes, it is related to some kind of personal questioning and maybe even a little insecurity a little bit, perhaps. I don't know if it makes the most sense. I'll try to. The thing of like, okay, sure, maybe EXTJ types get more shit done than I do. Maybe they're super productive, and maybe while I'm arguing about semantics, they actually get real things done in the real world. And that is something that does, I feel like, maybe frustrate me, because it's like, I don't know how you would argue over that, because they'd be like, well, I actually achieved things, or I actually am more successful than you ever will be. I don't know, maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm looking at the wrong things, or maybe I'm undervaluing I don't know. Whatever the fuck this is, I'm so sorry. This is cringe, um, but then then I'm like, well, okay, sure, yeah, maybe quote unquote, earn more money than I do, or or actually, I don't know, or maybe I'm getting more into the Enneagram stuff right now, because I feel like maybe I am somewhat. I don't know. My bad. I think that's my Enneagram type. I think, or at least that I say on my core type is type 5, right? So I like learning things. I like, gaining knowledge, taking that in, right, and trying to understand the world, right, and then using that as my sort of way of engaging with other people, in trying to, my sort of, core beliefs and all that, I guess. But, and then my growth type, right, is type 8, which again, right, it's sort of very, action-oriented type, very doing-based, right, and being assertive, being grounded, being embodied, whatever the term is, right, and like, moving with that sort of energy, moving that sort of flow. And maybe I just misunderstand, or maybe I think it's like some kind of like weird like Freudian shit that I've like repressed or something, but probably overanalyzing it, misunderstanding or projecting or something. I don't know. But it's like, it's 8 type being like that, Sure, you think of all these things, but do you actually do anything? Do you actually achieve anything? Right? Do you actually have a real impact, or are actively living, with life and engaging in it, and it's all this messiness? And I guess this is a sort of thing. It's I know I'm a very analytical type of person, and it's I don't know, maybe I have more than I think, maybe being a little confused up myself here, to be honest, but what am I trying to say? What am I trying to what point are you trying to convey? Fuck. I don't know. I've really gotten off point, have I? I was originally talking about, a whole achievement thing, and then, here I am kind of getting on with, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram stuff, or whatever I'm talking about. I don't know. My apologies. Or I don't know. Maybe I guess. Maybe am I just trying to? I don't know. Maybe I just. Maybe I'm just like I have something to resist, and that fuels me, or something to fight back against, or some kind of external perspective, or group that I myself as an individual like push back against and question, and all that. I guess a little sort of Myers-Briggs thing there, I guess. Right, I'm an IEP type. it's the opposite of an EJ, right? So we're more focused. We lead with an introverted function, right? TI or FI, which is about what do I think, what do I feel, what are my, values, what is my truth, how do I personally understand things, right? Over the external, bigger group question of what makes, how do I connect with the most people, or how do I, achieve the most things, or direct others, more group oriented. And I don't know. I know that honestly, I don't even know what the shit I'm talking about now, but the whole thing of like, wow, right? I feel like I don't know. I feel this sort of frustration sometimes with some PJ types. I feel like they're just like, why are they so focused on trying to achieve things and thinking that's like the most important thing to do or value? I don't know. Or like some FJ types, right? They're like, I think honestly I could really go either way, because I think a lot of the times I really relate a lot to a lot of FJ type people, although maybe I don't. I don't know. I feel really both for and against, or like I relate to and not at the same time. A lot of FJ types, that sort of duality thing, I guess. Right? Like, I care, both me and an FJ type, we both, care about how we interact with people. We both care about connecting and understanding group dynamics and all that. But I think maybe just like we diverge on how to go about that. I feel like sometimes they can be overly, I don't know, maybe the word, accommodating, or overly like sensitive, but then they'll be like, oh, I'm trying to do what's best for everyone, but then I'm offended if you express your own opinion. Which, I don't know. It makes some kind of sense, because I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm honestly feeling a little bad about this right now, because I feel like if I'm just saying like, oh, I'm like my individual function focused, it might feel like selfish or overly critical or whatever. I don't know. I just I don't know, maybe it's just the whole values thing, like, I don't fucking know. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I feel like I kind of screwed that up. I feel like I said stuff I shouldn't have, or like sort of ideas of frustrations of stuff based on stuff personality typology or whatever that I've read online that are like common experiences, and so then I think, well, that's what I think revealed too, which I don't know. But hopefully, I genuinely hope that this shit makes sense. I really feel like I am not making sense, and it's frustrating. Like, I understand my own thoughts, I understand, but I don't feel like, I feel like that some people don't understand it, and I just don't know how to do that. I don't know how to, like, use some kind of thing or do some kind of action to make myself understood. And I just don't, I don't know. Is it some kind of communication thing, style? No. Is it the way that I'm speaking the words? Is it the words that I'm using? Is it that I'm distracted? Stuff like that. But I'm so sorry. I just, hopefully all the shit I said made some sense. I don't know. There's so much stuff I don't know. And I feel like maybe I'm not, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to understand things. I'm trying to say this is what I think, what I believe, but I'm frustrated because I feel like I don't really know, and I'm trying to like claim, certain things, or am I being a hypocrite? Like, am I, criticizing, people, systems for being, too rigid, and here I am, and not, accepting certain truths about shit, so I don't like it. I don't know. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and end this video here. If you liked this last video part, or this one resonated with anything I've said, if you want to see more content like either of these videos, feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers before Easter. I'm currently at 75. So if you want to help join that, much appreciated. Grateful for everyone who's helped contribute to that so far, and see you next video. Peace and bye.